Republicans are blaming Democrats for the latest Donald Trump assassination attempt, never mind that the alleged shooter was apparently a supporter of Republican Vivek Ramaswamy. GOP lawmakers say that Democrats' political rhetoric is stoking hatred and violence, but even a Fox News host, Neil Cavuto, is pushing back at the rhetoric argument and pointing to Donald Trump.
He has also given incendiary comments blaming Haitian immigrants for eating cats and dogs. I could go on about talking about babies getting killed after their delivery and saying that his opponents were all for that procedure. Racist comments that some said maybe weren't intended but came across as that, calling...
to fact check that.
The only reason I'm mentioning any of this is doesn't extreme rhetoric work both ways? And that Donald Trump himself should be careful with this.
Doesn't extreme rhetoric work both ways, and shouldn't Trump himself be careful with this? Yes, absolutely. This is a no-brainer, except for some Republicans, including the guest on Cavuto's show.
The Democrats, I wish the president had mentioned this, every single one of them but one voted to allow abortion all the way up to labor. I mean, that is a horrible thing, and 80-something percent of Americans, I forget the exact number, are against that.
But they say that was not the case. I do want to expand on this a little bit with you, but meanwhile, this press conference is just starting right now.
House Republican Mark Green saved by a live news conference. Too bad. Because I have a feeling that Neil Cavuto, in addition to correcting Green's claims about Democrats and abortion, would have asked Green again, doesn't Donald Trump need to be more careful with the extreme rhetoric? Green dodged. And the answer is simple. Yes, of course, Donald Trump and everybody else, if Republicans need to add that caveat, should be more careful with the extreme rhetoric. But when Republican lawmakers cannot bring themselves to admit that Donald Trump himself has stoked division and violence, well, those Republicans are part of the problem. Sadly, the problem is even worse than acknowledging Donald Trump's role in coarsening our political rhetoric and boosting violence. One Republican House lawmaker, Tim Burchett of Tennessee, told Fox News that he believes Democrats are deliberately encouraging assassination attempts of Donald Trump.
I'm leaning towards conspiracy on this now because they put this out enough. They put it in somebody's ear. They know these type of people, how they're going to react. Somebody is putting up this kind of information out there, so these lunatics will pull the trigger on this type of...
It may not be a conspiracy. It could be a lone situation of a lone wolf, someone who's disturbed.
On the last one, that's what everybody said, but, we'll never know that because it's less than a few hours later, they were already washing the roof off, destroying the crime scene. And that creates an air of conspiracy at least to the American public, and you'll never be able to do that. They keep saying, trust us, trust us. Heck, we don't even know what happened to Kennedy, and that was 60 years ago, brother. Washington, D.C. does not turn loose of its secrets very easily, and the American public are right to question this.
It is fine to question how the shooter knew to be at the golf course, what motivated him, why didn't the Secret Service better protect the perimeter? But to suggest that certain mistakes, like not preserving the rooftop crime scene in the previous assassination attempt, or security blunders, or horrific rhetoric from anonymous trolls on the internet, is somehow evidence of a conspiracy, well, that's crazy. And a sitting member of the U.S. Congress should know better. Unfortunately, there are more than a few Republican lawmakers who are only adding fuel to the rhetorical fires. At some point, our elected leaders and political candidates are going to have to get back to the truth, to verifiable facts, to arguments based on evidence. This freewheeling, wild claims and assertions are what they are now railing against. You can't just say that Democratic rhetoric, that Trump is a threat to democracy, is a problem, but that Donald Trump's lies about immigrants, black people, Democratic lawmakers, and others are not a problem. This goes both ways, which was Neil Cavuto's point on Fox News. Unfortunately, far too many Republicans are turning out the few voices of reason and sanity on Fox and only want to listen to the lunatics. And so, the instability in our public discourse and the threats to safety keep going. By the way, Donald Trump recently erupted at Taylor Swift and is now getting ridiculed for it.
This is the ultimate implosion, and we're watching it live, and it's going to get worse.
That is George Conway talking about Donald Trump and this. Trump in all caps. I hate Taylor Swift.
And he knows he's going down. And the more he feels that he's going down, remember, he's running not just for president, he's running from prison. You're going to see him engage in more and more desperate behavior.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.